Welcome back to the Ironman Completionist Series, the series where we redefine efficiency by taking an unconventional path on a brand new Ironman with the goal of completing the game, completing the collection log from the very beginning. There's no skipping of content in this series. The goal is to do it all and to do it all when it's most relevant to our progression. So come follow along on our journey of completing RuneScape one step at a time. In today's episode of the Ironman Completionist Series, we are going to be greenlogging BA as well as getting level 5 in all roles. We also have a few other miscellaneous things to talk about, and we're going to be talking about what do the plans look like long to midterm here after we just finished the MTA grind. I've got some exciting things in the works, and I plan on talking about that a little bit. So let's get into it. Oh my god, this is the easiest medium clue ever. The second step was right over there, which is right by the monastery teleport. First step was in Shazian, right next to the Memoirs teleport, and now the third step is right over here. I just run over here. If this is the end of, I actually don't know how many steps mediums can be, but if this is the end, this would be like the easiest medium clue ever. It's going to be easier than the beginner. Oh my, look at that. And we get a count check. Look at that. Sweet. That was the easiest easy clue or medium clue ever. Let's go do the beginner. Look, I have to run further for this beginner because I don't have the Chronicle anymore. I probably died with it at some point. Chronicle would have been closer, right? But I got to run down there all the way this way. It takes me longer to do this one beginner step than it took me to do that entire medium clue. All right, as I mentioned, we are going to have a few side goals today alongside the BA grind. And real quick, let's open up some clue scrolls. First thing we're going to go do, though, is Ranarr's Lament, because that's going to give us the crafting level that we need to go do birdhouses. Figure might as well get that out of the way right away so I can keep up the birdhouse runs. But in the meantime, let's see if we can finally break the beginner casket streak. If we take a look here, I have gotten nothing from beginner caskets. I got a black pickaxe from an easy clue, okay, but I have gotten nothing else, and that streak continues, but whatever. Medium, I didn't do it in order, I know. Easy, wow, that is terrible. Okay, all right, and Ranarr's Lament done again. Primary motive behind this for the time being is just the crafting XP, but it actually does get a decent chunk of mining XP and fire making XP. We're definitely lacking in that. There we go. That's Ranarr's Lament. 2 more quest points as well. Oh yeah, and once we get the GP, we're definitely going to be getting permanent charges on this thing. The teleports are really nice. All right, I need a mithril grapple for some diaries and stuff. So I think we're going to kill these things, and this will be a good opportunity for me to talk about what's coming next. So I have hinted at it several times, but we are going to be venturing into the wilderness very soon. I really, really want to go grind out revs and a lot of the wildy bosses early on, and there are several reasons for that. One, being a lower combat level in the wilderness is always an advantage, obviously, right? But two, I feel like the rewards from doing the wilderness early are so good, and the timing is just perfect, especially from Wildy Slayer. There's not a lot of benefit from having High Slayer and doing Wilderness Slayer because there's not a lot of monsters that you unlock in the wilderness that have a high Slayer level requirement. But there are other benefits, and once we get to higher Slayer, like 80 plus, we're not going to want to go to the wilderness because we're going to have so much other Slayer stuff to be doing. So I feel like starting off with Wildy Slayer is going to be so good. And there's a bunch of good stuff. The Rev weapons are good for obviously anything in the wilderness. The Malediction and Odium Ward have been buffed since I last played. The rewards from the new updated Wildy bosses are good, especially, a Dragon Pickaxe is really important for the whole game, but especially if we want to go back to Gardens of the Rift and stuff like that, it's going to be really good there. It's going to be really good for everything. And Voidwaker would be such an awesome item to get. It's barely worse than a whip and a hosta, I think, in both slash and stab. Like, I think it's slightly worse than both of those in their respective styles. And it's still one of the best special attack weapons in the game. So I think that now it would just be the perfect time to go grind out some Wilderness Slayer. And this is how we're going to plan on doing it. So my range is pretty low right now, but we're going to get 50 range and we're going to get a MSB imbued. And that's what we're going to use to kill the revenants at the beginning. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to tutorial skip for rev tasks until we get the first rev weapon. And then after that, things are going to open up and we can just do normal Wildy Slayer with that rev weapon, and we'll collect some of the other rev collection slots and other weapons, etc., as we go along, right? So what do we need to do that, right? Like what are the steps? What are the other preparations that we need to do? Well, first things first, this episode, as you see, is dedicated to BA. Now, BA is probably like the least important of all of these things. However, we're still going to get some use out of going to BA. Primarily, what I want to do is we are going to be greenlogging BA. Now, I don't mind doing that because I just really like doing BA. And the torso and maybe even the skirt will come in handy in the wilderness. Like, there's some good items there, right? But what I'm really after as well is the gambles. So we're not going to be hunting down the Penance Queen just now, but we are going to be doing some gambles. And primarily what I'm looking for here are the Torstols as well as the runes, but primarily the Torstols, because the Torstols, given our super high construction level, that's going to allow us to build a pool in our house. If we can trade those with randoms to get stamina potions, we're going to be able to get a pool in our house, which is absolutely massive. So if we can get some Torstols, they're clean Torstols as well, that would be absolutely huge. And then also rune arrows is the other one. Now we could go farm LMS for rune arrows. That's one way to do it, but I'd rather not abuse LMS if possible. And we can get a decent amount of rune arrows from these, as well as sharks, law and blood runes, Torstol seeds, snapdragons, tons of really good stuff, coal, tons of really good stuff we can get from BA high gambles, as well as the chance of the pet, obviously. But the primary thing we're going to be looking for are the clean Torstols. Then I mentioned LMS, right? So we are going to be doing LMS, just the intention isn't to abuse it for GP, right? We're not going to just go buy 10,000 rune arrows and go sell them for GP. I think if we're doing revs, we should have plenty enough GP anyways. What we really need from LMS is a rune pouch, which we're probably not taking into the wilderness, but we just need that. But also we want traveler parchments, the scroll for the MSB, the scroll for the Ring of Wealth, etc. Maybe we'll even grab some like blighted supplies there. But I think that if they open up the Castle Wars crates again, I should get some blighted supplies from there. But in general, I'd like to collect some extra points in case I need another Trover Parchment. I can buy an extra looting bag if I need to, that kind of thing. So we're going to get a couple collection log slots, I think, from LMS. But we're also going to get some supplies for the wilderness. That's the plan there. Oh yeah, I didn't even mention, but check out this Chad melee setup that I've got going here. That is just absolute gaming right there. Okay, but back to the preparation. A few things that we've talked about already. I mentioned I don't want to do Dragon Slayer. Why? Because we're going to be point skipping, and doing Dragon Slayer opens us up to like 3 more tasks, and they're really slow tasks that aren't really great. So I don't want to do Dragon Slayer just yet. Maybe after we get the first rev weapon, we'll go back and we'll get our Barrow's gloves and stuff like that. But for the time being, I don't want to. And rune gloves are super cheap, so I don't care if I lose them in the wilderness. But perhaps after we get that first rev weapon, we're going to have so much GP we don't care about it. And we're going to have the rev weapon for killing those dragons. So perhaps we'll go back, get Barrow's gloves, take those to the wilderness. Hey, look at that. That's a collection log slot. Only need like 30 more of those. Besides that, we got pretty much all of the quests out of the way. The only other things I want to do is I want to finish off the diaries that I need so I can properly do farm runs on the side. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm farming for that myth grapple so that I can do that. I might be missing a quest or two there, here and there. And then lastly, I also want to do My Arm's Big Adventure again for farming so that we can do some farm runs on the side, really crank those out. Then the last important step, I believe, after we got everything we need, we greenlog BA, we do those quests and diaries that I mentioned. We get what we need from LMS, that will probably be fun. I know you guys are probably sick of watching everyone abuse LMS, but I'm really shit at PvP, so that'll probably be interesting to watch. But after we do all that, the last thing that I really want to do is just make a bunch of gold and silver jewelry. The silver jewelry is really important for Slayer, obviously, but I want to make a big variety of the stuff. A bunch of game necklaces, a bunch of rings of dueling, use up some of the gems, see what kind of crafting level I get, because that's going to be just helpful in the future. Maybe make some P-necks with the diamonds, make your bracelets for Slayer, make your amulets of alchemy, make all that useful stuff for teleports, etc. Just because we might as well just bang it out and get a bunch of that done. So that's what we're going to be looking at in the next couple of episodes. This episode dedicated to greenlogging BA, the following episodes to getting the rest of those preparations out of the way so that we can go crank out the first rev weapon from Turiel skipping. And then after that, go do Wilderness Slayer and do boss tasks, right? There's so many logs to do in the wilderness. I'm really, really hyped for it. Oh, and also the other facet of this plan that I forgot to mention is the Turiel skipping itself is not a complete waste of time, because the Turiel tasks, there's actually a bunch of collection log slots and stuff that we can do from Turiel specifically. Yeah, so looking at Turiel's task list, there's a bunch of these that actually have collection log slots. Basically anything that requires a Slayer level, which is about half of his tasks, maybe slightly less than that, all have collection log slots. Also, Turiel can assign rats, which can be used to kill Scurious, which is that new boss, which apparently gives a bunch of XP, and there's also a pet there. Apparently, it's super broken for early game Slayer XP, actually. So that should be really good once we get those as well. So we'll probably be using the skipping bracelets. Hey, silver bars, nice. We'll probably be using the skipping bracelets on all of the Turiel tasks besides rats. Then we'll use the bracelets of slaughter to get as many rats as we can and to get as many Scurious kills as we can for the XP, the Slayer XP, and then also there's a couple of collection log slots there as well. So the Turiel skipping is also not a waste. So this is why I think this is like the perfect timing for all of this, because we actually get some value out of doing Turiel, or we can. Like we don't want to be skipping in the very late game, right? Like it's just kind of a waste of time. But we can use the Turiel skipping while we don't have a streak. We don't have a Slayer streak at all, right? So that we can farm out our first rev weapon, then go do Wildy Slayer while our Slayer is still low. We complete as much of the wilderness as we can. And then once we come back to regular Slayer, hell, we might have high 70s, 80s, where Slayer starts to really get interesting. And so that's why I'm super excited about this plan. And after BA in this episode, that's what we're going to be focused on. We got 2 mithril grapples. Sweet. Let's go see if we can do those diaries. All right, a little bit scuffed that was, but that's the first queen kill. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, team's got to get off for the night. This is the progress we've made so far up to level 4 healer. We just did like 3 queens, I think. 4 queens, maybe. This is actually very difficult with 46 HP. I am like every wave 10. I am just have to sip through the pole constantly because I'm like dying basically. So yeah, I gotta maybe work on some things. Also, to do attacker is going to be pretty much impossible with the gear I have right now. But given that we need so many points for crates and stuff like that, perhaps I can do defender, collector, healer. Get those up to level 5, and then whatever attacker points I get from the queen, because you get 5 points for every queen, right? Put those in there, and I mean, we should get a couple levels out of that. Because I need to perhaps get an MSB for attacker, something like that. I mean, even then, I'm probably going to struggle. But if I were able to get enough points just from farming crates and stuff like that to get like level 2, level 3, that would help a little bit. But yeah, it's pretty rough at the moment. All right, I've decided I really need to invest in some upgrades, even though this is expensive and I'm running out of GP. We get a few gambles going. We're probably going to get some Alex back anyways. And looks like that's all I can buy. Just the plate legs, right? I need to find a new kite shield somewhere else probably. Regardless, just this upgrade alone gives me 33 additional range defense, which should help immensely on the queen. And then if we find a better shield, I'm sure that's going to help as well. Also, I realized I was rocking the strength ammy. I should switch that to an amulet of power. So according to the wiki, I can grab an adamant kite shield, yes, from this place on Alderaan. And now we are properly set up with an extra, I don't know, I didn't look at it before, but 60, 70 range defense at least, I think, from these upgrades. So also switch to the amulet of power. We're looking really, I think this is the best I can do, honestly, for now. Maybe there's a boots difference, but I don't have access to any Slayer boots or anything like that. So actually those are pretty much worthless then. I might as well just drop them for weights because they don't give any range defense. But Hopefully with this, I will not get hit like, 4 12s in a row by the Penance Queen. All right, this is. I think that's enough for tonight. This is very difficult with newbie teams. And I suck at Barbarian Assault, by the way. Like, I don't think I'm particularly very good. But I don't know all the tricks and stuff like that people do. I know you spam the egg, you get more. But besides that, so I have gotten level 5 healer and basically nothing else at this point. Just healer's been in super high demand. Let's just do a high gamble, I guess. I mean, I need to get the other roles. I just haven't had the chance to. Attacker, I still have no idea how I'm going to do at this point. Maybe I'll just put that off till later, but let's take a gamble with my healer points. Okay. Oh, it's right. Okay, you get it right there. Ranarr. Exciting. Perfect. Okay, and good. The collection log shows you how many gambles you've done, so this should be very easy to keep track of. But hopefully tomorrow I can get some points in the other areas. I think I'll just work on getting Collector Defender up to level 5, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do with Attacker. I'm really not sure. Okay, quick update. I was doing some AFK while grinding that IRL GP, and we were AFKing some Ammonite crabs. Got up to 53 range, as well as a couple HP levels, so that should help out with BA quite a bit. I probably could, in theory, go do Attacker now with probably a lot of help, but I probably could. And got some fossils, got a couple seaweed spores. Not bad. A little bit of progress. I do have more work to do, and I have some more AFK time. However, my issue right now is I ran out of arrows. But yeah, I ran out of arrows. I was buying adamant arrows, and I ran out, so I'm going to have to find a different solution. I'll probably just go AFK some Castle Wars for a bit or something. Oh yeah, and we got an easy clue, so let's go do that quick. All right, real quick easy clue. By the way, really sick tip for Ironman. This plugin, okay, the plugin's called Emote Clue Items. It shows you if an item in your inventory is required for a clue. So this green dot means it's required for an easy clue. The blue dot means it's required for a medium clue. And so that I was able to go through the shop and get all the pieces that I need for the clues thanks to that plugin. Really nice. All right, quick easy clue. Yeah, that seemed about right. A real quick 60 hunter, 77 farming. Okay, real quick update on the BA progress. I've got some attacker points. I convinced a team to let me attack for like the first 5 rounds. So that's where we got those from. And then I've got another 1K healer points. Still doing a lot of healers because it's in really high demand. It seems like nowadays double healer is the meta. So let's do some healer gambles, because I don't really need those extra right now anyways. Snapdragon seeds, okay, that's decent. I mean, only 4 of them, but we'll take it. That's one of the better things that we could get probably. Watermelon seed, I definitely don't need more of those. That kind of sucks. All right, I've just been farming out. I realize I haven't been recording much of it. I've just been farming this stuff out though. I did find a good team of randoms though. We just did that whole thing in 15 minutes, which I think is, yeah, I don't know how fast like the pro BAA guys do, but I think 15 minutes for just a random group of randoms is pretty damn good. So I'm very happy with that. Also, just as a quick update, I can't show you, I don't think, in here, but I'm up to level 4 defender, level 2 or 3 collector, I think, and then level 5 healer. And then I have a handful of attacker points. So I feel like the defender role gets a bad rap in Barbarian Assault, but it's actually really, really simple. It's just unintuitive, right? But it's actually my favorite, I would say. Like, you just get these tile markers, you drop 2 bad food there. What are the crackers? 4 good food there, excuse me. 2 bad. I got mixed up again, but 4, because I'm talking, but 4 good. Grab a couple logs, repair the traps when they're broken, and that, should pretty much be good for you. Like, that you pretty much just do that every time. I'm talking again, so I'm fucking up, but you pretty much just do that, and then once the trap breaks, you repair it, drop the rest of your good food. So I'm going to drop all my worms right there, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You just repair the trap when it's broken, and then you just do that every time for defender. Like, it's actually very straightforward. So I feel like it gets a bad rep, and I wish more people would learn BA, because it's a really fun mini game. So, and it would be a lot more fun if people just understood kind of the basics of how to do things properly. Because I think that's the problem with BA. It's a really good mini game, but it's really not that difficult. Oh, what the hell is this guy doing over here? Okay, I guess I messed something up when I was talking. But anyways, when you're not talking and being distracted, it's really not that difficult. It's just unintuitive, I would say. This team that I'm with is actually doing really good. I mean, we're getting like 15-minute runs, which I think for a group of randoms is really, really good. So I've been trying to stick with the same amount of people. Really not bad for a World 306 team. And there you go. As you see, when it's done properly, you should never pretty much be the last person to finish their task as the defender. It's actually really fast. And as you can see just there, just a moment ago, we're about 700 defender points. I figure I'm at level 5 now, level 5 no defender. I just got that like a minute ago. But I think I'm going to keep doing defender for a bit, just because that's what they need, it seems like. And I got to take advantage of that because it seems like healer is always the most in-demand role. And so that's why I've been doing that healer. And I had a few roles already from healer points. And so I have to take advantage of whenever I can farm out points for the other roles. Now, once we get level 5 all, like I'm pretty open to doing whatever role. I do like defender. It's probably my favorite. It's pretty chill, but I'd be open to do pretty much whatever once I have all level 5s. And I guess the green log, but the items aren't really even that many points in the grand scheme of things. So I would be open to doing whatever, really. It's just, got to get those level 5s first. So this is not intended to be a guide by any means, but another thing that I see a lot of newer people not know is that for killing the queen, you only need 1 egg. And all you have to do is, the important bit is that everybody besides the collector is spam clicking the omega egg. So you hold down shift to go through the dialogue, and then you spam the omega egg. And then the collector has to use it on the hopper. So if you're using multiple eggs and you don't know that you're going to do it right on the first time, because maybe not everybody knows what they're doing, it's important to make sure you use them one at a time and not just hit fill on the hopper. Otherwise it doesn't work properly if you have more than 1 egg. And there you go. I got distracted a little bit there, but yeah, as you can see, easy done. Easy does it with just one omega egg. Okay, nice. Now I'm going to get some collector points in, so that's really good. I should get level 5, at least in those. Attack is going to be tricky just because I don't have good gear, but I should have enough for like level 2 attack now, just from the other points from the queens and stuff like that. But that's nice. So I now have, I believe, just over 1,000 defender points, which is enough for a couple of items. So that's good to see. And then healer points I think I spent on gambles, but the healer points are pretty straightforward to get. I mean, healer's always in demand. Gotta be quick here because people are waiting on me because I'm going to be doing some attack, which I'll explain very quickly. But that's how many points we're looking at, so gotta get to it. All right, so I'm trying to take advantage here of basically what we'll do is we need 2 healers, so I'm going to swap to healer round wave 5 or 6 or so, and then go from there. This way I can leech some attacker points in a way on waves like 1 through 5, without being a total detriment to the team. And again, extra points aren't a complete waste for us because we do need to get the pet eventually anyways. So we're doing, a bit of gambles here and there, so I don't mind the extra healer points. We'll figure out how to balance things out in the end. But it will be very nice once I've kind of maxed out the roles and I get the green log, because then I can just, when I want to come back for gambles, I can just focus on cranking out defender or something like that and getting a bunch of points. All right, I think that's enough BA for one day. That was a lot. We essentially, yesterday I think we pretty much had level 5 healer like almost done, and then as you can see we did several gambles. We did defender, collector level 5, so now we're just missing attacker. And as you can see, we're close to level 3 already. I'm probably going to need to get some friends or something to help me kind of boost that a bit, just because, like I said, I would very much struggle to do attacker by myself all the way through. So definitely we'll need a little bit of help there, but I'm sure we'll be able to manage. The rest of these points here, I'm not going to spend on any gambles just yet. I'm going to save them. I'm going to try to get up some of the other roles. Again, attacker is going to be the main limiting factor here. But yeah, at least until we can get the log done, I have to look at how many attacker points that I need. But Okay, just did the math. Greenlog is about 2,000 points in addition to the 500, level 5. So after getting level 5, Greenlog is an additional 2,100 points for each roll. So that's actually going to be pretty difficult for Attacker, but I'm sure we'll manage. I'm sure we'll figure it out. Okay, I had to swap worlds because it's way too obnoxious in the Castle Wars world. Okay, so if we look at our traditional tickets, we are at 234. So that's about a quarter of the way for Greenlog, but obviously we're going to need more for the actual items as well. And then we also now have 52 plaudits, which is enough for 52 of these crates. Now, these were, I think, kind of broken on release for what they had in them, for how easy they are to obtain, because Castle Wars has 0 requirements. I think I talked about this in a previous video, and people were just farming them out. It was ripe for botting too, right? Because Castle Wars has 0 requirements. You just literally hop off Tutorial Island and come over here. However, I think that Jagex's proposal for adjusting these is actually pretty solid and within the spirit of Castle Wars, right? So their suggestion is adding essentially Castle Wars ammo, arrows, and bolts to these. And the idea with those is that ammo is used exclusively in Castle Wars, but it has a strength of like dragon arrows and dragon bolts. And that way, if you do want to play Castle Wars, you can have access to strong ammo without having to waste your dragon arrows. These also have a chance of giving you 2 more tickets. That's a potential drop item. And then most of what else is on it is just blighted supplies, other than rune arrows and rune javelins. I would have liked to see maybe those removed because I know there's a bunch of rune arrows. Like Ironman like to use LMS and Soul Wars and stuff for GP. Perhaps that's not the best, but whatever. It's not a ton of rune arrows, I don't think. And looking at this updated table, it's actually, all these supplies here are going to do me very well for the upcoming wilderness grind because there's a lot of blighted supplies. Those are great for the wilderness, obviously, as well as the rune arrows, which I'm going to need for revs, and then the extra Castle Wars tickets as well, right? So that's primarily what we're looking for, is see how many rune arrows we can get. Okay, so here we go. Those are the Castle Wars bolts. They're only used in Castle Wars. They have a high alch value of 6, so I wonder if you can sell those. That's interesting. Same Castle Wars arrows right there, and we got some blighted super restores. That's going to be so huge for the grind. And I think we got 2 tickets already, so we can take a look at that. I think, okay, some rune javelins, more blighted supplies, ice sacks. Okay, yeah, there's nothing. Okay, so we got another 2 tickets, so that's 4 in total. There's nothing particularly interesting from these, so I'm just going to go ahead and open them all up, see what we get. Okay, there we go. So 3,000 rune arrows. That's really nice. If I did want to sell that would be like 750k ish, probably a little bit less, but not bad. The rune javelins, I suppose I could probably sell those if I wanted to. They're worth a little bit less. Also, we were at 234, I think, and so that's an additional 24 Castle Wars tickets. I mean, that's really not bad. That would have been 10 games of AFKing before, or 12. So that would have been like 3 hours of AFK that we saved. Not too bad. And then look at these blighted supplies. So 24 super restores, a bunch of food, and of course the rune arrows. These ice sacks will come in handy as well, because I'd like to bring out ice blitz to have a chance of defending myself. So yeah, all that's really good stuff, and less stuff that I need to buy from the LMS shop, right? I don't need to waste my LMS points on these. Super stores might be short on, definitely, but food, this is a nice chunk of food to at least get us started, right? Quick 61 Hunter. I really want to get 64 as soon as possible so I can boost to finish my elite clue. All right, we're back on that BA grind today. We've got a lot of work to do tomorrow, so I really want to grind out as much BA as I can. Hopefully get level 5 all. We got up to level 3 attacker, so that's good. Pretty close to level 4. That's going to help quite a bit, but it's still kind of a struggle to get those levels and those points. But hopefully I can find some friends to help me out there. And otherwise, to be honest, so far today, it's been very rough. I just had a 38-minute run where I had to hold this guy's hand through how to do defender role. Sometimes random teams just aren't that great. But what are you going to do? Everyone's got to learn how to do this stuff eventually, right? Or they got to start somewhere, right? So No big deal. All right, we got a team of people who know what they're doing, and they're allowing me to boost some attacker points, so that's really nice. I'm definitely abusing of my minuscule YouTube fame, but you gotta do what you gotta do. We're going pretty fast here, so I just missed it, but we just got level 5 attacker, and that's level 5 all. So now I believe I'm missing still about 2,000 attacker points, I think just shy of 2,000 collector points, as well as, I gotta make sure I don't die here, maybe about 1,000 healer and defender-ish, something like that. That's for the greenlog, obviously, and if we get any extras, that's fine. I don't mind going a little bit more. I can do some gambles and stuff, and I mean, we're definitely not going to be cranking out the penance queen like all in one go. It's also pretty hard to find teams. I imagine after we get the greenlog, besides the pet, I should say, that we'll probably just do this here and there when I get invited. We get the teams to do so. I actually enjoy Barbarian Assault quite a bit, so I really don't mind going and doing it. But that'll probably be the plan going forward. Oh yeah, and I totally forgot. This is the elite task in the Kandarin Diary that everyone puts off. But we got that out of the way. We need, like I said, about 900 defender, 1,000 healer, about 2,000 collector and attacker. Yeah, and that was all right. We were getting like 18-minute kills, but we probably would have been faster if this guy... Where'd he go? Oh, he just logged out. This guy here, Fonda Cox, blacklist him from your BA teams. He's a fucking leech. So, yeah, he was just AFKing there as collector the whole time, barely even calling. It was a pain in the ass. But I guess I don't know, he was AFK and doing something. No context needed here. All right, in all seriousness, though, huge shout out to these guys for helping me get these attacker points. I'm now less than 1,000 away from what I need, I believe, and I'm fucking throwing right now. But I'm less than 1,000 from what I need, so these guys have helped me out a ton just by doing this. So I'll probably end up with a few extra healer points by doing this thing, where we swap. I do healer for like 8, 9, and 10 or something like that, just to help out, and I would really struggle with attacker in those later waves anyways. So yeah, I may end up with some extra healer points, but that's fine. We can just do some more gambles, no big deal. And again, honestly, I've kind of forgotten about it at this point, but we could get some Torstols from the gambles. That would be really sick. At this point, actually, it would probably be quite unlikely to hit drop rate for the Torstols. It's like 1 in 30, so that'd be like, what, like 15,000 points? That's a ton. Hey, and with that, we should be pretty much good. Oh, well, they started already, but I was going to say pretty much good on attacker points. Definitely good after this round here. Now I'm losing my train of thought. I cannot talk and do things at the same time. But yeah, we are pretty much good on attacker points, which is great because that's the most difficult one for me. So now I don't really need to do that. I have a handful of healer and defender points to go, and then I really need collectors, so I can do that. But I don't know, I think the way to go with BA is just, now that I got the greenlog out of the way, besides the pet, obviously, I should probably just come back to it whenever I have teams and stuff available rather than forcing random games. Because if you have like a half-decent team or like a horde of idiots like these guys, but they still kind of know what they're doing, you can still get sub 20 kills consistently. And I'd say if you have a good team, like let's say a team of people who know what they're doing, they're all level 5, but they're not professionals, right? You can consistently get around 15-minute rounds and about 4 queens an hour, which is pretty fast. Where if you're trying to force randoms, you can sometimes get like 30-40-minute games. It can be really rough sometimes. By the way, I'm just kidding. You guys aren't idiots. I really appreciate you guys helping me with the attacker points because getting those in randoms would have been fucking impossible for me. Sweet. Okay, so we got the attacker out of the way. Finish that as healer as well. So just a couple 100 points off healer. That's easily 1 game, 2, maybe 3 games of defender left, and collector. But we're going to go crank out some collector right now. Collector is also a really great role to have friends to do with, just because you don't have to rely on other teammates as much. And you can honestly pretty much AFK like the first 8 waves or so. But it can be frustrating being the collector if you're like with a bunch of randoms and your defender doesn't know what they're doing and other stuff. So 14-minute game. That's what happens when I'm not leeching. I mean, I'm still kind of leeching playing collector, but you know what I mean? Like, going double healer, I should say, which is totally the meta. 14 minutes, not bad. Not bad for a bunch of casuals, by the way. I'm not claiming to be a professional BA player by any means. Some people are super fast at this. I think the pros, they do it essentially with 4 people and they're carrying people for like 10, 12 minutes or something. Like, it's insane. All right, my team's got to disband. These guys got to get going. But this was a really, really good session. Pretty much done with Collector. If I just do these other games, I'll probably get there through the 5 points that you get at the end. Essentially 1 healer game, couple defender games. Yeah, we're good to go. There's level 5 Collector. No, I apologize, EC Dunder, but I do not want to group again. No hate on you guys, but that was pretty terrible. Just defender to go. Well, actually, I think I have 1 healer game. Excuse me. I had a few Collector points left over, actually, from where we left off, but yeah, figured to do 1 more game, because otherwise with the other games I needed to do, I'd have been like 10 points short or something, so might as well. And we can always do gambles, right? We still need to do gambles. All right, I changed my mind. I need to come back to this another day. This has been too terrible trying to do these random teams right now. We're really close, just a couple defender games, like 1 healer game essentially, and we're good to go, but we can come back. I have not been doing very many tree runs since I got higher farming and started the tithe farm and stuff like that. But my mahogany trees are done, so let's do a normal tree run as well. Why not? And that there is 78 farming. Quick 62 hunter. Man, so I had a busy day today, one that I could barely even focus on Castle Wars. Only got 25 tickets, but hey, that's another 25 crates. Hopefully we'll get some Blighted Super Restores is really what I'm after. We were low on those last time. That would be nice. Okay, hey, 20 of those. That's nice. We need those for the wilderness, right? Blighted Food as well. And then obviously the Rune Arrows, those are we're going to be using at Revs as well, so those are really good to get. Hey, not bad for a day's work. 28 Super Restores, 800 Rune Arrows. Nothing to write home about. Also the Blighted Food, I mean, like, these Revs and Wildy monsters also drop these, so I think I should be... Oh, and we got another 14 tickets. That was up to 39, so that's super nice. But yeah, this Blighted Food's really good. 4,000 Rune Arrows. Not a ton to write home about, but, it's some. So not too bad. All right, let's see if we can't finally finish off this BA grind. I know it's been just like a few clips for you guys, but this is quite a while, actually. I don't mind too much. I like BA. Yesterday, I was starting to feel a little bit burnt out after doing it for like 8 hours or something. But I do enjoy BA, and I'll be happy to come back to this here and there when friends invite me or whatever. But yeah, I'm excited to get this out of the way. All right, checking out the board. Just healer to go, and then we're good to go. I got back on this guy Doomnaz. He was one of the random teams that I was going with a few days ago. They're pretty good. He's hunting for the pet, so shout out to him if you see this. But they're pretty good, as you can see. 16 minutes essentially with a random team is really not bad. And yeah, pretty much just need 1 healer game, and we're good to go. All right, GG's. Thank you for the runs, guys. That's everything we need. Let's go get our BA. Not quite greenlog. We still need the pet, but yeah, let's go get everything else we need. Plenty of queen kills, almost 40 queen kills. Let's go ahead and buy the fighter hats, the ranger hats, the runner hats, the healer hats, and then the torso, the skirts, the boots, and the gloves, and then the granite body. I think that's actually I didn't check, but I'm pretty sure that's a collection log slot. And that is all of the penance gear unlocked, and I can't equip most of it. Okay, well that sucks, but hey, whatever. So the penance skirt, I'm pretty sure that's actually like one of our best items at the moment. So that's, I mean that will be better. I think it's better than like red d'hide. So until we get black d'hide, that'll be good. Fighter hat has some niche uses, and obviously the fighter torso is really good just across the board. So good items to get out of the way. And if we look at the log, we're only missing the granite helm. What? Is that a reward from Gambles? Oh, the granite helm. Okay, interesting. So the Granite Helm is a uncommon reward from Gambles. So we will be getting that as well eventually. I mean, we should get that well before the pet. You can also get it from Terror Dogs, apparently, but we don't. Obviously, we're not going to kill a lot of those. So we can get that from Barbarian Assault, though. So, and we will get that while getting the pet. So no need to go hunt down Terror Dogs. I believe we already did this when we got level 5 all, but I think that is what we need to do for the diary. Looks like we already did it. This board here, or maybe the bottom one counts. I don't know. But anywho, that is Barbarian Assault, mostly greenlog. We just need to do gambles at this point. And again, I think I'll be working on that over time with just friends and whatnot. I added that Doomnaz guy. He's farming for the pet as well. I'm sure we'll do a little bit here and there. No point in grinding out. To give you a little bit of context around the Penance Queen pet. So all of this took me however long. I only did 3 gambles. So I made basically no progress whatsoever with the pet. So again, for context, the pet queen is 1 in 1,000, and that's 1,000 gambles. So that's about 500,000 points, right? So, and to put into context, everything that I did in this video was about 15,000 points. So by that metric, you know, we only have another 500,000 to go. So we've got a ways to go. So definitely not something that I want to just go crank out in one shot. But, you know, we may come back. And I've kind of forgotten about the Torstols. Sure, we're going to want those as well at some point. But we'll come back and do it little by little. Doing BA in the random worlds really sucks about 70% of the time. But anyways, if you did enjoy this episode, I hope you did. Leave a like, you know, subscribe, all that stuff, follow along. Again, in the following episodes, we're going to be preparing and heading into the Wildy, trying to get our rev weapons, do Wildy Slayer, etc. I'm super excited to get into some meaty content. Should be very interesting as well. I've never really done a significant amount of Wildy content, so I'm looking forward to it. But again, I talked about the justification. I'm not gonna bore you guys, but I'm really looking forward to that. So stay tuned for that, and go join the Discord, the clan, all that stuff. Clan's still just very small, but if you want to come join, you're welcome to. And join the Discord to come hang out. You know, we do chatting there. We do announce things like BA if you want to go do that in the future. So, you know, join those and follow along for the journey. Have a good one.